Welcome to a special episode of Good Grief. I'd like to take this time to acknowledge May as Mental Health Awareness Month. And I want to do that by discussing with you the topic of the strong friend. If you consider yourself to be that person, or you're the friend of that person, then this message is especially for you. To be quite honest with you, this past week has been very hard for me. And I felt alone mentally and emotionally, and I was physically by myself. There was so much going on with various relationships. Mother's Day was nearing and reminded me of the loss of my child. Everything I did seemed to just crumble and fall. And I needed help. But I'm the person who always tries to keep it together. And I rarely talk to others about my sadness, depression, and issues. Now, you may say that's not true because you do it every week on your podcast. Well, at that time, I'm using myself as a vessel for God to show what I've been through to help others out there like me. But many of the things that I discuss with you, what you don't realize is that I'm bearing those things alone on my own shoulders. I am the person who typically doles out advice, comfort, a helping hand. I'm the one who answers the phone calls to mentor and assist others. But rarely, ever so rarely, do I ever reach out when I'm in need. I consider myself, and others do as well, to be the strong friend. I look like a pillar of strength, someone who has it together and doesn't need help. But the truth of the matter is, there comes times where even us, the strong friend, need someone to be right there. In the Bible, we start to get introduced to a strong friend in the prophet of Elijah. 1 Kings 17 starts out by talking to us about how Elijah was so powerful. He was a man of God. He was able to stop the rain for 3 years. He was trying to do everything he could to turn the children of Israel away from the gods of Baal and back to their one true God. And he was anointed by God so much so that God fed him by a raven. He gave him drink at a brook. And when that ran out, he gave him a shelter and food and drink at a widow's house, someone who didn't have nothing herself. And when he was at that widow's house, her son died, and Elijah brought him back to life. Elijah challenged the 450 prophets of Baal. He called down fire from heaven. He executed those prophets. And then something shifted. Elijah ran for his life when he had a threat issued by Jezebel that she was going to have him killed. This powerful, strong man who had done such miraculous things ran. And he reached a point where he just slept. And he asked God to take his life. But he was taken care of once again by an angel, told him to rise up, eat, and he did that. He slept some more. Angel woke him up again, eat. And he journeyed for 40 days, 40 nights. God asked him, "What are you doing here?" Elijah was in such despair. He felt so alone. He was like, "Hey, I am the one prophet trying to turn the people back to you. And now my life is at stake." And God had to bring him to the acknowledgement that there are more people out there like you. There are more prophets who are working for me. In fact, there are thousands. You are not alone, Elijah. I am taking care of you. And he issued him some instructions, one of which was to anoint his successor. Elijah got rest, he got nourishment, and he regained a faith and a hope because he knew that he wasn't alone and that everything would live on in his successor, Elijah. Strong friend, you've been pouring out and pouring out to the point that you've become empty when it's time to face the challenges of your life. Nourish yourself. Get some rest. But know that you are not alone. You have to learn, just as I did. You got to reach out. There are people who are there who will help you. There are angels on earth for you. And the friend of the strong friend, don't forget to nourish them. Don't think because they show up like they got it together that they don't have problems too. And I would ask you to also consider this. Make the time for them when they do reach out and show that they're in need. Because I can tell you this, if they did that, then they probably really need the help. Now, I want to make a caveat. Yeah, I've had a tough week, but this message is not for me. So people, don't just start calling and texting me. I have my circle, and I'm working it out. This message is for the strong friend and the friend of that strong friend. As we are in May, Mental Health Awareness Month, don't think the only people who deserve the advice, the time, the comfort, the help are those who exhibit signs. They need it, but strong friends do too. As always, I want you all to stay present in your healing and keep the faith.